Hey, you, right there. Y'all see it. Watch this video to the end, boy.
Before Dr. Dre, before Timberland, before Pharrell, before Kanye and so forth, there was him. Trumpeter, band leader, composer, record, film, and television producer. He had his hands and feet in everything from jazz, pop, R&B, hip-hop, and some more shit. A career that spanned over 7 decades in the business, 71 years since 1953 to be exact. He's one of few producers to have #1 records in 3 consecutive categories. In the 1960s, 70s, and 1980s. He's worked with a very long elite list of people to name, and because the list would be definitely too long for this video, I'll name some notables to give you an idea. Frank Sinatra, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, Count Basie, Dizzy Gillespie, James Ingram, Rod Templeton, and of course the GOAT, Michael Jackson, whom he helped produce the classics in order: Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Now, I'll run off some more accolades at the end of this video, so watch this video to the end for more details. Quincy Delight Jones Jr., born March 14th, 1933, on the south side of Chicago. Now, I won't get into details of everything you heard and seen in interviews, documentaries, etc., but instead give you my thoughts and speak from the heart in a place of honesty on the icon, the legend known as Quincy Jones. Now, there's plenty references in his own words about his come up and what led to music and how he really wanted to be a gangster instead of a musician. Because growing up in Chicago, going back as far as the days of Capone and even before then, gangster culture was very much a thing in urban and rural areas. Wasn't much hope and ambition to be lawyers, doctors in them days. People were just trying to put food on the table and find a way by any means necessary. But I digress. In the 1950s, he toured Europe with several different jazz orchestras instead of the Chitlin circuit. This was a time when most people of color had to settle for the southern or the northern regions in the States, hoping to catch that big break in show business if you were lucky. Now, as you would imagine, the music business was not as kind to minority acts in the 50s, and more or less the bands were not paid nor treated fairly back then. At some point, he began to realize the difference between music and music business, and in order to survive, he had to learn both. And so he got a job with Mercury Records as musical director. Big shout out to Irvin Green, head of Mercury Records at that time, if you know, you know. Producing various projects in music, movies, and television. In the 1960s, Jones worked as an arranger for the likes of Billy Eckstine, Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, Frank Sinatra, Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington, and so much more. By 1961, Q became the VP of Mercury Records, being the first black man to hold that position. And Quincy Jones Productions was born. And in 1964, he did his first film score for the film Pawnbroker. Quincy Jones composed the soundtrack for the film, including Soul Bossa Nova, also from the Big Band Bossa Nova album in 1962, which was used in the scene at a nightclub that would later be used as the main theme to the Austin Powers film series. Now, at this point, he was the man and had a black book of connections in business that could make a gangster blush. Now, moving along into the 70s, he began his exploration into pop music. Without saying too much, history was made once again, producing various projects in music, movies, and television, which I'll mention later in the video. Turning into Quest Entertainment in 1985, the umbrella of the Quest Film and Television, Quest Home Video, and continued to operate subsidiaries like Quest Records, Quincy Jones Productions, and Quest Music Publishing. And in 1990, Quincy Jones Productions joined with Time Warner to create Quincy Jones Entertainment. The company signed a 10-picture deal with Warner Brothers and a 2-series deal with NBC Productions, now Universal Television. What was those 2 series? You guessed it, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith and In the House with LL Cool J. Setting the table for hip-hop once again, showing that we were more than just music. Now, I left a lot of stuff out for the misinformed to do your research, discover, and watch a few documentaries and interviews if you care to enlighten yourself. And as promised, here are some of Quincy Jones' many accomplishments that I want to mention. 80 Grammy nominations, winning 28 Grammys. 2 Tony Award nominations, winning a Tony Award in 2016, which was the Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical as producer for the revival of The Color Purple in 2016. 2013, 7 Academy Award nominations. He won the John Herschel Humanitarian Award in 1995. In 1989, he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Also in 2013, he was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 12 honorary awards, 15 honorary degrees ranging from Harvard to Princeton. Also, he was the producer and conductor of the 1985 song We Are the World, a charity song which raised funds for victims of famine in Ethiopia. As producer and band leader, he had 6 albums in the top 40, 4 platinum plaques, 7 gold plaques only in the U.S. alone. He won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Music Composition for a series for the miniseries Roots in 1977. In television, he served as either composer, music director. In television, he served as either composer, music director, or executive producer. Now here's a few notable mentions. Roots in 1977, Sanford and Son in 1973, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from 1990 to 1996, a spinoff from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 2022, In the House from 1995 to 1999. Also Mad TV, and there's plenty more where that came from. Nearly 40 major motion picture scores. Here's a few film mentions. Composed numerous film scores, including The Pawnbroker, which was his first film score in 1964, In the Heat of the Night in 1967, Cold Blood in 1967, the original Italian Job in 1969, in 1978 with the all-black cast, The Wiz, Color Purple in 1985, Get Rich or Die Trying in 2005, The Color Purple's remake in 2023 as producer. Recently, we were saddened to hear the news that the icon has gained his wings November 3rd, 2024, at the age of 91 years young. Given the time, I really didn't want to speak on it right away out of respect for the family and the privacy of the family. Now, I doubt that it would ever be another Quincy Jones, although he leaves a legacy behind for his son, Quincy Jones III, better known as QD3, who follows his father's footsteps as producer and music executive respectfully. Quincy Jones left huge footprints and a blueprint for us to study and inspire from. I, for one, as a fellow producer, etc., hope to experience at least a third of the success the legend has been able to reach and attain. This episode of This Is Not a Podcast is a very special one to me, and this is my way of paying homage to the great one, the icon, the legend, the late, great Quincy Jones Jr. May he rest in power. And that's going to end this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification button. As always, keep God first, stay sucker free. By all means, get to the money. Peace and love, stay healthy. I'm out this joint.